Easter Sunday, 2012. A wife returns from church. Her husband is dead. 5 months later, their son dies. Same symptoms. Same mysterious circumstances. Then their daughter collapses. Organs failing. Brain bleeding. 3 victims. 1 family. 1 year. And a secret so dark, it would take an anonymous phone call to expose the truth. This is the story of the Staudte Family Murders. Springfield, Missouri. Population 170,000. Known as the Queen City of the Ozarks. Ranked among America's best places to live. Safe neighborhoods. Growing economy. Tight-knit community. But in 2012, something evil was unfolding inside one ordinary home. A mother. A daughter. And a plan that would destroy an entire family. Mark and Diane Staudte met in high school. 10 years apart in age, but it didn't matter. They married on December 28, 1985. Diane was just 18. Mark was 28. Within 7 months, their first child arrived. Shawn Staudte. Born July 1986. 3 daughters followed. Sarah. Rachel. Brianna. 6 people. 3 bedrooms. A crowded house on West Olive Street. Diane worked as a clinical supervisor for United Healthcare. Steady income. Reliable. Responsible. On Sundays, she played organ at Redeemer Lutheran Church. A pillar of faith. Or so it seemed. Mark was different. A musician at heart. Guitar and harmonica player in a local band called Messing with Destiny. They played bars and venues across Springfield and Branson. Small crowds. Loyal fans. Mark loved the stage. Between gigs, he bartended. Odd jobs here and there. But music was his life. From the outside, they looked like any struggling family. Cramped quarters. Tight finances. Normal problems. But inside that house, resentment was building. Diane had a favorite. Rachel. The second youngest daughter. Dean's List student. Shared her mother's love of religious music. Diane posted about Rachel constantly. Praised her achievements. Showered her with attention. The others. Not so much. Shawn, the oldest, had autism. He struggled socially. Diane described him as intrusive. Difficult. A burden. Sarah, the eldest daughter, had just graduated college. Drowning in student loan debt. No job. No prospects. And Brianna, the youngest, had learning disabilities. She needed extra help. Extra patience. But Diane's patience was running thin. Tensions simmered. Arguments erupted. And behind closed doors, something far darker was taking shape. April 2012. Mark's bandmates noticed something wrong. He looked weak during rehearsals. Sluggish. His skin had a yellowish tint. Jaundice. On Friday, April 6, Mark performed despite feeling ill. By Saturday, he could barely move. Nauseous. Weak. Unresponsive. Diane later told police she checked on him throughout the weekend. He would only grunt. Or say nothing at all. Easter Sunday. April 8, 2012. The day after Mark's 61st birthday. Diane returned from church. Mark was dead. Police arrived. Diane explained he'd been sick for days. 3 seizures that day, she said. The last one just 45 minutes before she found him. Officers asked the obvious question. Why didn't you call 911? Diane's answer was simple. Mark didn't want to go to the hospital. There was blood around his mouth. A ring of red. Strange, but not alarming. No signs of trauma. No drugs. No alcohol. The medical examiner ruled it natural causes. Mark had been in poor health. Overweight. Poor diet. No exercise. It made sense. No autopsy was performed. Mark's body was released. His bandmates mourned. They played at his memorial service. A tribute to their friend. And life moved on. Diane received a $20,000 life insurance payout. Not much. But enough. 2 months later, she bought a bigger house. Nicer neighborhood. 10 minutes from the old place. A fresh start. Or so it seemed. September 2nd, 2012. Less than 6 months after Mark's death. Another 911 call. This time, Sean wasn't breathing. Diane had returned from church again. Found him dead. She told investigators he'd been sick for weeks. Nauseous. Achy. Diarrhea. She'd checked on him throughout the night before leaving for church. Paramedics arrived. Sean's body was in his bedroom. No signs of trauma. No injury. And just like his father, there was blood around his mouth. The same ring of red. The medical examiner ruled it natural causes. Attributed to Sean's autism and prior health issues. His body was cremated days later. 2 deaths. 6 months. Father and son. Same symptoms. Same mysterious blood. Same ruling natural causes. Most people would be devastated. But those who knew Diane noticed something strange. She wasn't grieving. She seemed relieved. Neighbors said she became more isolated. Pulled away from social events. Kept the family close. But she wasn't mourning. She was moving forward. June 2013. Just over a year after Mark's death. 9 months after Sean's. Sarah Staudte was admitted to the hospital. Critical condition. Kidneys shut down. Pancreas failing. Brain bleeding. Doctors ran every test. Nothing made sense. No diagnosis. No explanation. Sarah was dying. And no one knew why. Then something extraordinary happened. An anonymous phone call. Springfield Police Department. The caller said Diane Staudte was responsible for multiple homicides. Mark. Sean. And now Sarah. Detectives immediately contacted the hospital. Spoke with Sarah's medical team. The doctors confirmed their worst fears. Every test came back negative. But Sarah was still dying. Only one explanation made sense. Poison. Investigators pulled the medical examiner's reports on Mark and Sean. The similarities were undeniable. Same symptoms. Same blood around the mouth. Same unexplained deaths. Tissue samples from both bodies had been preserved. They were sent for advanced toxicological testing. The results came back. Ethylene glycol. Antifreeze. This wasn't coincidence. This was murder. The anonymous caller. Diane's own pastor. From Redeemer Lutheran Church. He'd noticed her behavior after the deaths. No emotion. Odd comments. Something didn't sit right. That phone call saved Sarah's life. On June 18, 2013, Sarah's condition stabilized. She was moved out of intensive care. And detectives knew it was time to bring Diane in. June 18, 2013. Springfield Police Station. Diane Staudte sat across from detectives. Calm. Cooperative. Almost too calm. The detective started gently. Asked about Sarah's illness. The timeline. The symptoms. Diane described it like a minor inconvenience. Sarah had a headache Saturday. Upset stomach. Threw up a couple times. Nothing serious. But Sunday afternoon, she wouldn't wake up. So they took her to the emergency room. The detective pressed further. Asked about Sarah's mental health. Could she have tried to harm herself? Diane latched onto this immediately. Maybe she overdosed, Diane suggested. Maybe she got into household cleaners. The detective asked which cleaners. Diane mentioned Lysol. Everyday products. Nothing specific. Then the detective shifted tactics. He mentioned the hospital was running extensive tests. Sending samples to the Mayo Clinic. Other labs. If something suspicious showed up, how would she explain it? Diane's response was measured. I don't know. Depends on what it is. I'd have to figure out where it came from. The detective asked about life insurance. About her marriage to Mark. Was it happy? Diane's answer revealed everything. We were still married, she said. But it wasn't a good marriage. Mark had affairs. He drank. Smoked pot. Wasn't a good guy. Friends told her to kick him out. But she couldn't. She was afraid he'd kill himself. The detective listened. Then he mentioned Mark's life insurance. $20,000. Not much. Diane confirmed it. That was it. Then the detective talked about Sean. Asked about his relationship with Diane. She described him as intrusive. Annoying. Interfered with her work. And Sarah. A difficult child, Diane said. Lazy. Wouldn't get a job. Student loans piling up. I'm tired of doing everything for my kids, she said. The detective could see it. Diane was close to breaking. He changed his approach. Sympathized with her. Validated her frustrations. Told her he understood. You're a good person, he said. I know this is tearing you up. You don't want people to think you're evil. And that's when the first crack appeared. The detective pressed gently. Offered her a way out. A chance to explain. To show remorse. People would understand, he said. You were pushed to the brink. Doing everything for everyone. No help. No support. Everyone reaches a breaking point. Diane's voice dropped. There's a lot of arguments, she said. Put it really short and sweet. I knew they were drinking antifreeze. And I was so mad at him. I didn't want to take him in. But the detective wasn't satisfied. Diane was still trying to make it sound like they poisoned themselves. Like she just failed to help. The detective pushed back. How did you know they were drinking antifreeze, Diane? They told me, she said. The detective didn't buy it. Diane, you knew they were drinking antifreeze. You knew that. They didn't. We both know that. Silence. Then finally. I didn't know what else to do. I really didn't. Diane explained she researched antifreeze poisoning online. Learned it was odorless. Slightly sweet. Easy to hide. Over 3 days, she put it in Mark's Gatorade. A few months later, she did the same to Sean. Put it in his Coke. Then Sarah. Same method. The detective asked her to clarify. She gave them antifreeze once a day. A couple tablespoons at a time. When it didn't work fast enough, she gave them more. Ethylene glycol is metabolized into toxic compounds. Within hours, victims feel drunk. Tired. Nauseous. Within 12 hours, crystals form in the kidneys. The poison attacks every organ. Kidneys. Lungs. Brain. Heart. Rapid breathing. Convulsions. Coma. Death. But Diane hadn't acted alone. Investigators searched the Staudte home. In Rachel's bedroom, they found a diary. Inside, a chilling entry. It's sad when I realize how my father will pass on in the next 2 months. Sean, my brother, will move on shortly after. It will be tough getting used to the changes, but everything will work out. The murders had been planned for over a year. Rachel knew. And she helped. Rachel was brought in for questioning the next day. She confessed. said she and her mother researched different methods. Pills. Strangulation. Even witchcraft. But they settled on antifreeze. Easy. Untraceable. No violence required. Rachel explained how they would slip the antifreeze into drinks, while Sarah was distracted on her computer. Just a quick pour. She wouldn't notice. The detective asked why they finally took Sarah to the hospital. Rachel's answer was chilling. She didn't want another body dying in the house. Houses become nasty after someone dies in them, she said. She kept having nightmares after Sean died in his room. She didn't think they'd get caught. She wanted it to be just her and her mother. Because her mother understood her. Didn't annoy her. When Diane was arrested, investigators found a poem in her handbag. Once upon a time there were 6. Now there are 3. Only the quiet ones will be left. My mom, my little sister, and me. Diane and Rachel were charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. 1 count of first-degree assault. 1 count of armed criminal action. Sarah survived. Barely. Severe neurological damage. Had to relearn how to walk. How to talk. Permanent kidney damage. Physical scars. Emotional scars. She would carry them forever. In 2016, Diane took an Alford plea. Didn't acknowledge wrongdoing. Only that there was enough evidence to convict. This allowed her to avoid the death penalty. She was sentenced to life in prison. No possibility of parole. Rachel made a deal with prosecutors. Agreed to testify against her mother. Pleaded guilty to 2 counts of second-degree murder. Sentenced to life in prison. Possibility of parole after 42 years. At sentencing, Sarah faced the sister who tried to murder her. Through tears, she read a victim impact statement. She said she forgave them. Forgave her sister. Forgave her mother. They took away her father. Her brother. Her livelihood. Her independence. But as a Christian, she believed forgiveness was the only way forward. Diane Staudte remains in prison. No remorse. No explanation. Rachel remains incarcerated. Eligible for parole in 2058. Sarah rebuilt her life. Slowly. Painfully. One day at a time. The house on West Olive Street still stands. But the Staudte family is gone. Destroyed from within. Why did Diane do it? She didn't kill for money. The life insurance payout was modest. She didn't kill out of rage. This was calculated. Methodical. Planned over months. She killed because, in her mind, they were useless. Mark was unfaithful. A burden. Sean was intrusive. Difficult. Sarah was lazy. Entitled. They annoyed her. So she eliminated them. Like removing obstacles. Not people. Objects. And Rachel. She helped because she wanted her mother to herself. Because the others were loud. Annoying. In the way. 2 people. 1 dark plan. 3 victims. And a poison family tree. There are cases that shock us. Cases that haunt us. And then there are cases like this. Where a mother looks at her own children. Her own husband. And sees nothing worth saving. Diane Staudte didn't lose control. She didn't snap. She planned. She researched. She executed. And when it was done, she wrote a poem. Celebrating the quiet. Sarah survived. But she lives with the knowledge that her mother tried to kill her. That her sister helped. That the people who were supposed to love her most wanted her dead. She chose forgiveness. Not because they deserved it. But because she refused to let them take anything more from her. Mark and Sean never got that choice. They trusted the wrong person. And it cost them everything. This is the Staudte Family Murders. A case where poison wasn't just in the drinks. It was in the hearts of those who served them.